Okay, so in the last video, or in my Robocraft building tips video, or whatever I ended up naming it, I went over some of the things I do and some of the ways you can use to reduce the height of the robot, make it more resistant to damage, things like that. And that video is mostly aimed at one of my many subscribers out of a group of 5 in total. And that got me thinking, how would I design a robot with a limited CPU? What would I do if I was in Tier 4 as a level 22? I was not in Tier 4 as level 22. I was in Tier 2 until I was level 60 or something crazy, just because I never felt the need to move on at that point. But if I was in Tier 4 and wanted to build a tank specifically and not something like a cruiser, how would I go about doing it? How would I fit as much utility as I could into a platform that seemed as viable as possible? And I didn't spend hours on this or anything like that. It's always fun to tinker with new things and take on new challenges, even if you have to set them yourself. And this is what I came up with, which I've imaginatively named the light tank, though an alternate name would be the level 22 tank, which happens to be exactly 655 CPU, a number that is completely arbitrary and not taken from any other source. I did end up completely enclosing the cockpit in this case, but that's because it turns out that treads don't really lose traction when they're dragging something across the ground. You can build right down to the ground and really never have to worry about getting hung up on anything. I played a couple matches with this, and that was never a problem. So, take your robot and just drop it down by 1 cube, if possible. And right there you shave off some of the height and make it more compact and more bulky. I detailed what this turret mount is and how it was built in the other video. But just to show that again, excuse me. As you can see, the column that comes up through the middle of it doesn't actually touch the outside. It's only connected to the core of the robot, which is both good and bad, depending on how you look at it. Again, there's trade-offs for everything. So reconnect that. Can we put that on anything stronger? What's this on? Pink? Let's put this back on pink. There we go. Another thing, I try to protect the treads as much as possible while also not connecting anything critical to them. These side skirts, these tank tread skirts, aren't actually connected here. As you can see, there's a prism and no connection is made. That's because I want this to shear off without transferring damage into the tank. Instead, damage is transferred up here. And you could lose a gun, potentially, but with this design especially, and when you have a limited CPU and a limited number of cubes, losing a gun is probably not as bad as losing this tread, because losing this tread exposes the core of the robot, which is nice and heavily triforced, but still, naturally the most vulnerable part. Some electro plates. As you can see, there's triforcing separating the connection point of the treads from this front here, so this front can shear off without taking out the treads. These electro plates, I don't think they look all that great where they are, but they do their job pretty well. They shield the treads from the front. You could also reverse their orientation if you wanted to, and it will still move. I've tested it like this, but at the same time, most of the time fire will be coming in towards your robot at a slight downward angle, so probably better just to leave them like this. Or that's my design choice anyway. A hit right here could take these both out, and that's happened every once in a while. when you have such a low CPU limit, it's difficult to design around stuff like that. And yeah, that's basically all there is to it. You definitely want to favor putting as many cubes on as possible over electroplates. Electroplates have a purpose that they can serve, but you need cubes for a tank. Now, normally, if I was this level, if I was level 22 in Tier 4, I don't think I would build a tank. I think I would build a cruiser. The tank treads are Tier 3. A cruiser could use Tier 1 wheels, and it's far easier to enclose wheels inside the body of a cruiser. And I have ancient videos from months and months ago that have my Tier 3 cruiser, which was pretty effective, and its various exploits. But that's all that comes to mind about the design. I recorded some videos of the robot in action, and I'll edit those in after this is finished. By which I mean right now.
Rail tank spotted. SMG hover spotted. SMG hover spotted. Hover spotted. Rail drone spotted.